Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the second episode of the Smart Money Sundays series. I'm excited for a new trading week ahead. Hope you guys are too. I have about 8 pairs I would like to discuss with you guys today. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us on Instagram at Ariel__FX, the double underscore, or on Telegram at ArielFX Trading. So I want to first start off with AUD USD. And as we all know, or as you guys should know, the dollar has been very, very strong these past few weeks. All right, we have finally started to accumulate on the dollar. I'm going to zoom out here. We can kind of see that this accumulation on the DXY. All right, we finally had that upthrust in the direction that we wanted. So continuations to the upside are expected. So we should be looking to sell any XXX USD pair. All right, so we can see this. We're in a huge tear to the downside here. Okay, on the higher time frames, we did come into previous resistance, now turned support, but with the strong momentum, I do think we can have a further pullback with a higher time frame pullback in and around that 0.66800 level, kind of retesting previous support over here and over here, turn resistance here, and we can see that we never retested this zone. All right, we never retested this price point. It's just straight buying in here, so this imbalance that needs to be filled. We are below the daily 50, we are below the 4-hour 50, or we are below the 1-hour 50. So I do expect price to continue to roll over to the downside because I do think that DXY has more room to go to the upside. So skilling in, we're looking to take a trade on Friday on this pair. Just didn't quite pull back enough for me. But what we can see here is I do think this is still valid. This candle in here that printed at 2:45 in the morning. This is London session open, just about to that Asian London session changeover. We swept liquidity. So we took the Asian highs. All right, this is an Asian range in here. We swept the highs and we fell and made a lower low. So we enticed buyers into the market. All right, taking buy stops, taking sell, people who are selling in here, taking their liquidity, taking their stop losses. We took the stop losses in here too. People were selling off this resistance on a lower time frame, and on a lower time frame, we actually filled in a balance and retested this previous support over here. All right, so we made a lower low. We should expect a lower high, and then a continuation to the downside. So what I'm thinking, really just retesting this last down close candle here. So when we push down, and then this was the low that was made before making this high. So either retesting this low, filling an imbalance, or coming back up to that 45-minute open. So that would be in and around that 61% retracement, 71% retracement as well. And we can clearly see on the 1-hour time frame that the 1-hour 50 EMA is coming into confluence quite nicely. All right. However, I will note that on the higher time frames, let's go to the weekly here, we may be in for some sort of retracement because what do you think the market makers are going to do after this big move? Everyone is going to be wanting to short, which, it's not a bad idea as long as you can find your proper setup at the right time of day. But we have to be wary of the fact that maybe they're trying to entice people to sell to start the week. So we may have an overall pullback, maybe to retest this last buy to sell candle that kind of swept liquidity. All right, so maybe pulling back a decent way and then continuing to fall. I do think this can still roll over. I'm just not sure if we're going to pull back to start the week or not. So this is why it's going to be very, very important to keep a conscious eye on what's going to be, or the price action that's going to be printed around these sort of levels at the right time of day. So if we can get a push to the upside here, London session and New York session on Monday morning, this will be a great sell-off, in my opinion. But if not, then I will not be shorting this because I do not trade Sundays. Sundays are we're just trying to get the market's feet wet, just trying to let the dust settle a little bit. But if we can get the right time of day, price action in and around the sort of level at 0.705450, somewhere around there, we can be looking to short it off. Continuations. All right. Next one I want to go over is CAD Swiss franc. So CAD Swiss franc, BIP actually took a long from down here around 0.6900, and we are in a really good profit right now. We are above all EMAs, 1 hour, 4 hour, and I believe the daily time frame. Yep, we are above the daily 50 EMA. However, we did on the lower time frame break structure. All right, we were making higher highs, higher lows here. Then we finally broke. We closed below previous structure right in here, creating a lower low. So we should expect a lower high and then a potential another lower low to the downside. However, the The CAD has been quite strong. Oil has been on a tear to the upside. So maybe we could expect further higher prices on this pair because we are above all EMAs. We may end up making a higher high. This may just be an overall pullback in the market for another continuation to the upside. We can see that we have relatively equal highs in here, and we have equal highs right in here as well. So a further push to the upside is expected. Our take profits are in and around 0.6958 to fill this imbalance here and retest the previous support that made this high and then that made that low. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you have any questions, please let us know. We are looking for that third drive into the high. We can clearly see one drive, two drive, potential third drive in and around this high here. All right. We can see that we made some sort of inverse head and shoulders formation. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? Sweeping all this liquidity in here with this move here. All right. We actually did the same thing here. And this is exactly where we got in last week. On a lower time frame, we broke this counter trend structure here, taking liquidity here with this move, creating that left shoulder, head, right shoulder move for continuation, retest of that 1 hour 50 EMA for a long trade to the upside. So what I'm going to be simply looking for is we have relatively equal lows here, just some sort of sell to buy, having this overall pullback in the market. You can see, just pull my fib from the low to the high here. Maybe we'll come into the 50%, 61.8, maybe retest this last selling volume in here, something in and around those levels. All right. So I will be looking for some sort of manipulative sell to the downside, enticing people to sell off, breaking the support, taking their sell stops in here, and taking their any buy orders and their stop losses right in here as well. So some sort of sell to buy, pullback, mitigation, continuation to the upside. So this will be an area where I will be looking to take most of my profit off the table. All right, in and around that 1 to 4.5 risk reward. Not a bad risk reward on this one at all. To take out these equal highs as well. This will be the draw on liquidity. So that's what I'll be looking for, is some sort of sell to buy, having an overall pullback, having that third drive into the high. We may even come higher than that price level here as well. So next one I want to discuss with you guys is CAD JPY. CAD JPY is sort of similar. We are looking at higher prices or expecting higher prices on the Canadian dollar. So I will be looking to potentially take a long trade on this one. Now we are in a downtrend, okay? If I just zoom out here, we are in a downtrend. We did break this most recent structure. We can clearly see previous resistance turn support, right? Now we should turn resistance again. So maybe if we can get this pullback back into the sort of levels around maybe 79.89 or around that 80 psychological level, we could be in for another sell-off. But I do think that we can have this pullback to the upside. All right, we have equal highs that we need to snag. All right, so there's liquidity being built up here. What we did see last week, I think it was on the 30-minute time frame actually, we made a high. We failed to make a lower low. Then we made relatively equal highs. So I expect further higher prices. We can see that we made this last sell to buy, even though this was not a sponsor candle. We did mitigate that, so I do not expect price to come any lower than this level. Now, what am I looking for in here? Well, maybe some sort of run on liquidity to the downside to start the week, and then breaking structure to the upside, clearing that high, breaking that counter trend, pulling back, and then continuing to the upside. So we'll have to see what price gives us to start the week. I'm not going to be hesitant in buying this pair. I'm going to wait for my proper setup. If you are part of the VIP group, you know what that is. You know what my rules are. All right. So we'll be waiting for that counter trend break, maybe trying to take out previous week's or previous day's low on Friday, sweeping that. But even if we just continue to the downside and take out this low here, which I don't expect, but if we do, I'm not going to be looking to sell this unless we get a clear smart money concept type of sell. But for now, I do expect higher prices because I do want this to be the draw on liquidity, which I do think it will be, to take out these highs. So if we are going to go short, I do want these to be run first, which is why I'm looking for potential buys to take profit above these highs in here, maybe continuing to the upside. We'll see. So CAD JPY, not my favorite setup for the week, but something to keep an eye on. Next one is Euro JPY, sort of similar, but we're in a range. All right, we're range bound here, but we can clearly see that we are in a massive downtrend. All right, we're below all EMAs. We have sort of distributed price here. All right, buying climax, secondary test, spring. All right, we had that LPS and we fell to the downside. So really any retracement back to the upside to then fall would be nice. We can see that we never, when we created this support level here, we never retested it. There's imbalance in here. I thought we were going to get that retest here, but we never did. So I do think price can come up a little bit higher. but we are on a massive tear to the downside. The Japanese yen is quite strong. So I do expect further lower prices, and the fact that we are being capped by this 4-hour 50 EMA here, along with the daily 50 EMA right in here, I don't think, well, it may be a while before we end up actually pulling back up into here because I don't think we're going to break these EMAs. So what I'm going to be looking for is, because given the fact that we are in a downtrend, I want to be looking for some sort of buy to sell move. All right, so I want liquidity to be taken in the opposite direction of trend. So taking this liquidity, right, falling to the downside, pulling back, mitigating, whatever may have you, and then continuing with the overall trend. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. So I know you're probably thinking, well, what if we get a sell to buy here? Well, if we get a sell to buy, it has to be very, very pretty, because this will be counter trend trading, and I don't really like trading counter trend. But understanding that we do have imbalance in here, we never tested or retested the structure level. We can see that we have relatively equal highs. Then I still will be looking for price to come back up into there. So we have to have a clear sell to buy, and it has to take out this structure here at the right time of day, and it has to have the mitigation at the right time of day as well. And people who are in the VIP, who have taken the course, understand what those times are. Very, very important, because how price moves is all about time and price. That is how or when the banks influx their orders at certain times of the day. So if we can see this type of move, it has to be very pretty, in my opinion, because I don't want to be really buying this. But if we do get a pretty setup, a clear sweep, a clear move to the upside, and a clear pullback, I will be looking along this. But overall bias is short. We are continuing to go short on this pair. Euro is relatively weak because the dollar is strong, so I do want to be continuing to look for sells. So GBP USD, sort of the same deal as AUD USD. I don't know if we're going to get the overall pullback in the market yet. I don't know if we're going to pull back up into this daily 50, have an overall retracement before continuing. I know we will continue. The dollar is very strong, and I do think we can come back down, potentially back down to retest this previous level here. Filling an imbalance, retesting this demand level for maybe higher prices. All right, so if I just go to the weekly, I can just show you. We may be creating a massive inverse head and shoulders, left head, potential right shoulder, for continuation to the upside. So I am still continuing to be look for sells on this, because the dollar is quite strong, and we can see that on Friday we swept these highs in here, these equal highs. With this move, we mitigated this buy to sell move, right? Sweeping these highs in here. Not very pretty, but you just got to train your eyes to see what exactly is going on. Where is the liquidity, and what are the concepts that's being applied here? We ended up falling to the downside. We ended up breaking structure, as we can see. We ended up breaking that structure, and now I am looking to pull back into that 45-minute candle, kind of like on AU, and looking for further shorts, taking these equal lows in here. This will be the draw on liquidity. However, not quite sure if we are going to come a little bit higher, which is why I'm not going to be selling this if it's not at the right time of day. All right, because we may take out this high from Friday, come up into this buy to sell, this last buy to sell, which really started to take the liquidity in here, and then sell off. So if that happens at the right time of day, I will be looking for those shorts around 1.282. But the overall general consensus here is to short GBP USD. Pound is quite weak, and dollar is quite strong. So continuing to look for shorts is what's going to be on the table this week. USD ZAR is another one. So USD ZAR, I really do like this. I will start with a sort of top-down analysis on this, just to kind of give you an overall perspective. To note that we are above the daily 50. All right, we did take out this previous day's price action in here. We had this short off, people were selling. Nope, buy it right back up to the upside, engulf that. Okay, so we got back above. Not only did we get back above structure in here, so I'll just do this. We had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Oh, made a higher high. So we should look for a pullback and continuation. Now we are above the daily 50, which is resting in here. So I don't really expect price to come any lower than this level. All right, so we should be looking for buys in and around that level. And the fact that I don't think the dollar is going to have a significant pullback this week, we may get a small one because we are on a tear to the upside. So I expect if we are going to see a pullback, it's going to be quite minor. So getting into sort of a top-down analysis here, we can clearly see that we had equal lows here and relatively equal lows here on a lower time frame, which I'll get into in a minute. We swept those lows, enticing sellers into the market. All right, and then we bought right back up. So in my opinion, I do think that our new objective is going to be to take this new high, or this previous high here. All right, because we swept liquidity, we had a massive move in the opposite direction. I do think that we can continue, and USD is very, very strong, so we're going to be looking for buys. Going on a lower time frame, 4-hour time frame, we can clearly see that we had the support level in here that was broken. We sold to buy. All right, we came back and retested this previous level here. Oops. Just go and use this one right here. There we go, perfect. Actually, I'll drag it up. I think this is really where it's supposed to be. Yep, that is going to be the start of the sell-off. So we can see that this is inverse head and shoulders, left head, right shoulder. Beautiful, right? We tested that 4-hour 50 EMA at this previous demand level, filling an imbalance. So that could have been your first entry. All right. You can see here, liquidity was taken, sell to buy. And if we go, I think it was with the 2-hour time frame, somewhere in and around that level. Maybe let's go back to the 4-hour. We can see that we had that mitigation right in here. All right, with this sell to buy candle. All right. So we ended up making a higher high, we pulled back, higher low, and we made a higher high again. So if we just scale in, following trend, following structure, I think it happened to be on the 30-minute time frame. This was not a sponsored candle. This was not a sponsored candle. It's just the last sell to buy, which does not mean it's a sponsored candle. It's not a sponsored candle, but we did have a reaction from it. So now I don't think we're going to come below this low here because we made a new higher high in here. We closed above that level. All right. So getting rid of this, there we go. We can see that we've formed the Asian range here, these relatively equal lows. We sold, enticing sellers into the market on Friday. We bought right back up, correct direction of trend. This is why it's so important, guys, to not be fooled with these false moves, especially if you know it's in the opposite direction of the trend. Okay, so this was only really to mitigate this last selling volume here, taking sell side liquidity, making a move back to the upside, continuing in this direction of trend. We can see this is a clear smart money move. We can also clearly see that this is previous resistance, turn support, support, resistance again. So I do expect a pullback into this demand zone to retest this around 16.9628, really to fill an imbalance, really to test this last selling volume in here. Stops are going to be below, really below where we started to initially have this run up to the upside. So after this last sell candle, we started that real run. So stops below that. And I think that'll be in around that 61% retracement, 61.71. Yep. So discounted pricing is what we're going to be looking for. We can see that the hourly 50 EMA is right in here. We are above that. 4-hour 50 is right in here. We are above that. So by the time this pulls back, this should be up here too. Maybe a retest of that 4-hour 50 and then a continuation to the upside. So I really do like this trade. So if it happens at the right time of day, I will be buying this pair. So that will be really a free signal for you guys who aren't a part of the VIP. So there you go. But it has to be the right time of day, guys. All right. It has to be the right time of day. If you do not know that, then join our VIP, purchase our course. We are running I wouldn't say a promo right now, but we are giving you guys the option if you are interested in purchasing the course to hit us up, and we'll be glad to give you a very fair discount, a really nice discount. So we teach all this stuff in depth in our course and in our VIP as well, but our course is more of a step-by-step approach, whereas our VIP is more of a signal service company alongside mentorship to help you get a familiar understanding of the concepts and divulging more into that on our live sessions as well. So I'm going to be looking to buy this pair. Again, it has to be at the right time of day. If not, I won't be buying it, but if it does, then this will be, in my opinion, a really good buy. All right, 2 more pairs, USD/JPY. If I can find it, there it is, USD/JPY. So again, the members are in this as well. We bought it from somewhere in here, I believe. But the dollar is strong. We should just continue to be looking for buys. And what we did on Friday was we created this last sell to buy candle that swept the liquidity in here, swept the Asian lows. All right, sell to buy into this 1-hour 50 EMA was never mitigated. So I do think we can get that overall pullback, or just a decent pullback back down into that level around 105.35 to mitigate Friday's candle. Happened to be at 2 in the morning. Sell to buy before London session. Buy back up for London, pull back. That's what I'm going to be expecting if we do get that at the right time of day. Continuations to the upside is expected. We are on a massive turn to the upside. So we did sweep these lows in here. So I do expect a further pullback on this because the dollar is quite strong. So again, not my favorite setup, but it would make sense if we get the mitigation at the right time of day. and we are above all EMAs as well. So good confluence there. Last one is going to be US 30. So US 30, I don't see a setup on this at the moment, but if we can get back above this kind of counter trend structure here, then I will be looking for longs because we still are in a very bullish market. All right, I do believe that we are going to fully recover from the huge coronavirus incident that took place at the beginning of the year, to take out these highs and continue with the overall move of the S&P, really, or US 30. All right, so continuing to the upside as expected. I mean, in the long term, we should see higher prices. But what we are doing, we are creating higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This is just an overall pullback, guys. This is not a downtrend. All right. Many people would think, okay, well, we're on a downtrend. Well, yeah, on a short-term basis we are, but we are in an overall uptrend in the market. Okay, this is our previous structure right in here. We did not take out the structure. We respected it. So higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Should look for a higher high now. Just continuing with market structure. So what I'm going to be looking for is simply, I just drew my zone here, previous support, resistance. If we do get back above this previous resistance and break the counter trend structure, looking to retest and then continuing long, because if we do break this level in here, well, we will be now counter trend bullish and overall bullish, and we will not be coming below this level. So we can get back above that, get back above these EMAs. Maybe, if we push back up here, the EMAs will start to turn back to the upside. All right, retest the EMA into that demand level, pull a fib, whatever may have you, and then take a long trade. However, I will note that the dollar is quite strong. So when we see dollar strength, we usually expect indice weakness. All right, so we usually expect shorts on US 30, which I'm not saying we can't have. We could easily have a bigger retracement on US 30 here. We could see further lower prices. We are below the daily 50 here. All right, so we could have an overall pullback. Let me zoom out here. We could have an overall pullback in the market before continuing up. All right, so that is not off the table here, but I'm saying if we do get back above that structure here on the lower time frames, like I just mentioned, back above this sort of level, I will be looking for longs upon a pullback to this demand level. But we could easily just continue to sell off because the dollar is quite strong and we are below all EMAs at the moment. All right, so again, not a clear setup on this at the moment. I'm going to be looking to see how price reacts to these sort of levels I just went over to start the week. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of the Smart Money Sundays series. Hope you found some great value in this video. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be glad to answer any of those questions. If you are interested in our VIP services or our course, please let us know, and we can look to getting you a very nice discount on that. We are only running that for this day's time. All right, so hope you guys enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and we will speak with you guys shortly. Thank you so much.